Iron Maiden releasing a new album in 2024 is close to zero.
It's just outrageous.
Yet there is still some hope that Maiden fans will be treated to a taste of new music with an Iron Maiden flavor this year, and also get to hear some Maiden classics beyond the Future Past tour program. And that's where all three of the Iron Maiden vocalists come to the rescue, as Bruce Dickinson, Bayley and Paul Di'Anno are set to release new solo albums this year, promising a feast to Iron Maiden fans worldwide, some would present in the bits of the three different eras of Iron Maiden. So let's take a look at them.
Coming against you!
After a 2-year-long break and several very scary health issues, Bayley will finally release his new studio album, Circle of Stone, on February 23rd, of which we will talk in a moment. But before that, both Blaze and another Iron Maiden vocalist, Paul Di'Anno, will grace the Iron Maiden fans around the world with new renditions of their respective eras of Iron Maiden's 48-year-long career. In just over a week, Bayley will be back on the road again, celebrating 30th anniversary of him fronting one of the greatest heavy metal bands on the planet. Yes, 30th!
Yeah, unbelievable.
And so naturally, with the show titled Iron Maiden 30th Anniversary, Blaze will go around Europe performing the songs from the X Factor and Virtual 11. Both of which, for those who are new to the show and haven't heard me saying that before, I personally consider to be great records. And I'm very happy that they are finally being given justice both by Iron Maiden and Blaze Bayley himself. Around the same time, the first Iron Maiden studio vocalist, Paul Di'Anno, will continue his tour, allowing all the fans in Australia and South America to warm up before Iron Maiden themselves will grace those countries with their The Future Past tour later in the year.
Put that on tour again, which has been fucking brilliant. You saved my life. Thank you, guys.
And just like Blaze is doing with the 90s era, Paul will continue performing the songs from his 2 albums released with the band, playing some of the legendary classics on his The Beast Resurrection tour, before going back and revisiting the roots of the new wave of British heavy metal with the release of the debut album of his new project, Warhorse. But anyways, going back to the albums, on February 23rd, Bayley will finally release his new studio album, Circle of Stone, the project which we knew was in the making for quite some time now, yet just now was finally officially and quite unexpectedly announced with the release of the title track from the upcoming record.
The circles of stone and the high mountain peaks as I wander this great land.
And so on the 23rd of February, all Blaze Bayley fans will get to hear the new chapter of the singer's career, which, as we can hear from the first single, will be a natural continuation of his previous work musically, blending the barriers between this old-school sound and modern tendencies in metal, telling the story of one of the most beloved heavy metal monuments, Stonehenge.
Simple, beautiful, classic.
And here comes a rather interesting point. From the album's title, its cover artwork and the track list, we may assume that this upcoming record might actually be a concept album. Even more, a concept album about some mystical and paranormal stuff, possibly even featuring a portal to another world of some sort. You know, just like another album which will be released just a week after that one. Overall, the first single was very promising, and in my opinion, Blaze's voice worked really well with guest vocalist Niklas Stolvent of the Swedish band Wolf, which kind of makes me wonder whether there will be any more guest appearances on this future Blaze Bayley work, and which I promise you we will find out very, very soon, since Blaze Bayley is actually going to join me for an interview once again on the show in just a couple of weeks from today. Here's the thing, I personally have an enormous respect for Blaze Bayley and pretty much everything he has done throughout his career. So yes, I am actually rather excited to hear what he has brought for us, and especially if this will be a concept record of some sort. But just a week after that comes one of the most anticipated events of the entire year for all of the metal pilgrims, as after an 18-year-long break, Bruce Dickinson will finally grace his fans with the release of his 7th studio album, The Mandrake Project. Now, if you're not new to the channel, you know that we already spoke quite a lot about Afterglow of Ragnarok and the Mandrake Project, and believe me, we will continue doing so. And especially as we get more info and hopefully more little clues and secrets for us to unfold from the man himself. So for now, let's just raise and leave unanswered a couple of questions, which we still have. Namely, which musical direction will Bruce and Roy Z take this album in? For as we all know, the first single might actually not be indicative of the record's sound at all. And especially when it comes to Iron Maiden and Bruce Dickinson. We also know for sure that the band will continue performing some of the older Bruce Dickinson material, yet it still remains a mystery as per who will perform the second guitar parts live and whether Roy Z will have to rely heavily on playbacks on the future tour. And of course, what a flip is going on with the storyline and who is this Dr. Necropolis whose persona we've been teased about since 2015. And once again, one of the coolest parts about this album overall is actually not only music itself, but the whole idea of unfolding this story together with the comic book, which I guess is kind of similar to the feelings you experienced when you first saw one of the classic Iron Maiden albums, trying to find all those little details on the cover artwork. Yeah, you know I love that one. And this is exactly why this album, despite its quite modern production, somewhat reminds me of the feelings I experienced towards heavy metal when I first fell in love with the genre. So yes, it does look like it's gonna be an amazing start to an incredible month for heavy metal. But of course, the year would not be entirely complete without another Iron Maiden vocalist releasing his solo album. And while for now we don't really have an exact date or details, we may actually make a very educated guess as per when we may expect the debut album of Paul Di'Anno's Warhorse. Now, and by the way, Warhorse's debut single Stop the War was actually premiered first on this very channel, which was partially of course because of our Up the Iron series, but also because it was written specifically in support of Ukraine. So here I just wanted to thank very quickly Paul, Blaze, and all of you guys who've been very supportive to me, this show, and Ukraine through this very difficult time for us. And guys, please do not forget that a terrible war is going on right now, right in the middle of Europe, and just know that your support means the world to me and all Ukrainian metalheads. But going back to Warhorse, started in Croatia during the time Paul spent in the country getting a medical treatment, Warhorse actually features some very talented musicians who of course also happen to be Iron Maiden fans. And so it does look like with this band, which first started as a mere project, Paul will be trying to recapture the essence of his early career, bringing that sound in the 21st century, which, if he will be able to succeed in, will be indeed a very interesting thing to listen to. So yes, while it is still very unlikely for Iron Maiden to release a new album this year, it still does look like with the new leg of the Future Past tour and the tours in the albums we discussed just now, Maiden fans are still gonna be up for a real treat. So please let us know in the comments which one are you most excited for. Thank you so much for watching this short video, guys, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!